Hello everyone, welcome back to our Python programming course. I hope you have been practicing all these topics we have covered so far because every topic in Python builds upon the previous one. Till now, we have learned about variables, data types, operations, conditional statements, loops, strings, list, tuple, dictionaries. Now imagine you have written a program and you want to calculate the average of a marks, okay? So later your teacher asks you to calculate the average for the another student. Okay. So will you copy the same code? Probably yes, if you don't know the functions. But copying the same code again and again makes program a longer, harder to understand and difficult to maintain. This is exactly why functions were introduced. Functions are one of the most powerful concepts in programming. Almost every large software or application, from Instagram to WhatsApp or to any banking system, use thousands of functions. In today's lecture, we are going to learn what is a function, why do we use function, how to create function, how to call functions, parameter arguments, and return statement, built-in and user-defined function, best some examples, best practices, how to make a good function. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to write reusable and organized Python programs like real programs. Let's begin. So, what is a function? A function is a named block of code that performs a specific task. Instead of writing the same code multiple times, we write it once inside a function and call it whenever needed. Think about a coffee machine. Imagine you press the coffee button. Do you know every internal step in the machine perform or whatever the machine performs? No. You simply press the button and you get your coffee. Function is going to work in the same way. You call the function, Python executes it, and all the instructions written inside it. Let's take an example. Uh, for example, your TV remote has different buttons like power and volume, something, something. Every button have a specific different task. You don't open TV every time to increase the volume. Similarly, every function performs with one specific button, right? That is how functions are going to be executed. Okay. So why do we need function? Suppose you want to print welcome to the Python programming 10 times. Without function, you might write like print hello to the Python programming, again hello to Python program. You will be writing this like 10 times. This is repetitive. Now look at the function approach. So what we will do, we will create a block of code and we will just call that name and name it as that block of code as welcome. And I will write welcome, welcome, welcome 10 times. We wrote the code once and reused it as many as time we needed. This is why programmers loves function. So let's talk about its advantage. First is reusability. Write it once, use it as many as times. A calculator function that adds two numbers can be used throughout your program, right? Now, a better organization. Function divides a large program into smaller parts. Instead of one huge problem with 500 lines, you can have 20 small functions. Each function performs one task. This makes your programmer easier to understand. It is easy to maintain. Suppose you discover a mistake without function, what you are going to search and debug where you have made mixes, and you might need to fix it at many places. With function, you fix it at once. Every function calls automatically uses the updated version. This is a best example of it. Okay. Now, creating and calling functions. Okay. Now let's learn how to create our own function. So the basic syntax goes like this. Okay. So we will understand it part by part, so you don't have to worry. First is def. This def is a keyword. I hope you remember what keyword does mean. I have repeated about keywords multiple times in the previous lectures. Every function should start with a keyword def. It tells Python, I am creating a function. So if you are not going to write def, Python won't recognize that it is a function. Then whatever is written here like greet. So greet is the name of the function. Every function should have a meaningful name, okay? If you are making for something average, so you have to name it as average. Otherwise, calculate, like if you want to calculate something, so it will be a calculator. Don't use names like X, ABC, test1. Meaningful names makes your code easier to understand. Third part is this parenthesis. After the function name, we write parenthesis. If you remember, every time I was using some functions, we have already used some of the function. If you remember, we have used print function, type function, we have used even in we have used in strings and list too. Some of the function you have to name them. What functions we have used till now in list, Python, whatever the Python list, string, tuples, dictionaries, whatever we have learned till now. I want to know what were the functions that we have used there, and you have to name that. And with every function, I have told you that you have to use these parentheses because it is a function. Right now, since it is an this is empty. Later we will place some parameters inside them. Don't worry, I will let you know what parameters inside them mean. Okay. Then the fourth part is the colon. Every function defines end with a colon. If you forget it, Python is giving a syntax error because with this colon you are going to separate it as a block of code. Now, fourth part is this indentation. The code inside the function must be indented. Usually, Python uses four spaces, or we can say one tab space. Notice here that print function, the print statement is indented. Okay, without indentation, Python will show you the indentation order. Okay, now let's do some live coding, right? So let's go. We are going to create a simple function. I will name it as greeting, not greeting, I think something new. Uh, okay, I will name it as mm, gratitude or greet only. Let's go with greetings only. Greetings, def greetings. Now parenthesis. So we have discussed that first part is def keyword. Then there is greeting. Then there is parenthesis. So, so we are going to do it like that only since we have divided it. So def is the keyword that is going to define this whole block of code as function. Then greetings, I have named the function as greetings. I have used the parenthesis like this to make sure that function gives no error. Then a semicolon that is mandatory. And I want to print thank you universe. Okay, simple gratitude message. Okay, so this is a simple message we have to I have created a simple block of code that is going to work as a function. Now let's run it. You might be thinking what happened, why it is not running. Okay, let me tell you, there is a differentiation between defining a function versus calling a function. Many beginners think creating a function automatically runs it. It doesn't. Here I have defined the function. Look at this code clearly. Nothing is going to happen. Why? Because we have only defined the function. To execute it, you have to call the function. This is the condition for a function, that you have to call it. We must call it. So for calling it, it's very simple. You have to name whatever the function was, use this like parenthesis, and then your message has been printed. The function is now working because now you have called the function. Now see how simple is this? I'm just going to copy it. And I'm going to run it. See how simple it is. I've called it multiple times and it has given me the message multiple times. So I want to ask you a question. Did you notice that we didn't write the print statement again and again? Now let's understand what actually we are doing here. Actually, now this print function is the part of this greetings. So whenever I'm going to call greetings, will be printing the inner part of it, whatever it include. Assume it as an envelope that contains a letter. So whenever you are going to open the envelope, you are going to get the letter. So it is going to work like that. Okay. So okay, we have done this so far. Now let's understand what happened behind the scenes. Okay. There are three simple steps. Okay, there are three simple steps. First, defining. We create the function like we did right now. Python stores this function in memory. It does not execute it yet. Okay, it is not going to execute it. For execution, what we are going to do, we have to call this function. Now Python looks for the function name greetings, whatever we have written here. Like here I have done greetings. So it is going to look for the function that is known as greetings. It does not execute unless we call it. When it finds it, then step 3 would be execute. Python's enter the function body. This is the function body, and this is also a function body. It's a next part of if it is a head, then it is a body. So it execute every line inside it. Like whatever is going to be written inside this def greetings would be executed. After finishing, Python returns to the next line outside the function. This process repeats every time the function is called. If you want, you can understand it like, imagine you are ordering food from a restaurant. The menu is like the menu, whatever you have, is like function definition. Your order is the function calling. Whatever the order you are giving, it is similar to you are calling the function. The prepared meal is the output. Now, the kitchen doesn't start cooking until you place the order. Similarly, Python doesn't execute a function until you call it. So, what are the mistakes that you can make as a beginner? Forgetting the parenthesis. See, this is going to throw an error. Okay, so remember, every time you have to use parenthesis. Second mistake, thinking that without calling a function, you will get the output. Calling a function before defining it. It can be also your mistake could be. You have not defined the function, but you are calling it. It is similar to that you are expecting an output without creating the structure of it. Okay. This is going to give you a name error because Python hasn't seen the function yet. So if you are going to first call it, then create it, it is not going to work. It is a step-by-step process. You have to follow the 4 steps that were first defining, then calling, then it is going to execute, and fourth would be it will giving you the output. So always define the function before calling it. Third is incorrect indentation. Python raises an indentation error whenever you are not going to indent it. What do I mean by that? You have to give yourself four spaces. If you can see, here are four dots that are like an indication that okay, we have left four spaces here. Four spaces or one tab space, whatever you can understand with, it's fine. Okay. Now your task is create a function, name, college or school, whatever, wherever you are studying. Inside it, print your college name, your class or section name, and your year, the current session year. Call the function twice. Try it yourself before moving ahead. Pause this video right now and try it, okay? So far, we have learned this much. So now we have learned how to create a function and how to call it. But you may have noticed something, our function always print the same output. For example, if I have created def greetings and have asked to print thank you universe, every time we call this function, it prints the same message. But what if we want to greet different peoples? Should we create a separate function for Rahul and another for Priya or another for Aman? Of course not. This is where parameters and arguments would help us, okay? So what are parameters? A parameter is a variable that is written inside the function definition. It is like a placeholder. Now you don't have to be get scared with these terms. I'll just help you out with some example. Okay. I am writing here name, okay, and I am also writing here name. So what is going to here? Notice that name is written inside the parenthesis. So now this name is a parameter. This is called a parameter. At this stage, the parameter doesn't have any value, okay? It simply wait for us to provide one, okay? Now, what's an argument, okay? I hope you have understood this one. I'm just going to comment it. Okay, by the way, guys, I hope you remember what does commenting means. Try to write it along with me so that you don't get confused. Okay, I have done this, right? And print. mm, Not like this. Let's do this. Greetings. Isha. That would make you help to understand. So, as per parameters, I am thinking that you have understood so far. So, I have written something inside this parenthesis, and now this is a parameter. And I have also used this. I want this thank you instead of universe. I want the name, whatever I want to print. If I'm going to print it like this is going not going to print anything because name we have not defined it, okay? So now what I did, I called the greetings function and I wrote Isha inside it, okay? Here Isha is called an argument. It is the actual value that is going to passed by this function. Python takes the argument Isha and stores it inside the parameter name. So it is going to work it like name is equal to Isha or Isha. Okay, so now this is going to work like this. Now greetings, and instead of name I have put an argument that is Isha. Now name has a value that is Isha. Then now let us run this. Thank you, Isha. So see how the same function works different for different peoples. Like if I write it here, Anna. Thank you, Isha. Thank you, Anna. That's the beauty of parameters and arguments. So if you still are getting confused, so here's a simple trick. Parameter is a placeholder, like a holder that is created. Like we have a pen holder and something, okay? The pen is the actual value that you are going to pass. Let's take another real life example, okay? Suppose you order pizza. The menu says choose your topping. Topping is the parameter that you have to choose a topping. If you choose cheese or corn, then corn is the argument, that is the actual you want on your pizza. This is how it's going to work. Now, yeah, multiple parameters. Now, what do I mean by that? Function can take more than one parameters. Right now, I have took only one, right? But you can take as many as you want. Suppose I am creating a function add and giving the value a and b, print a plus b, a plus. Simple, nothing very fancy. Add 5 comma 3. And now I have added two parameters with separated by a comma. Okay. Now let's run it. So my answer is 8. Here a is receiving the number 5, b is receiving the number 3 as per the order. Then Python is going to add them. If you change the parameters, the output would be changed. Like if I change it to 15 and 23, output would be 38. Simple. Notice that we didn't change the function, only we changed the values. So remember, if you are going to write it like, okay, let me make it for subtraction, for example. I'm not changing the name right now, but you have to remember that you have to make sure that you are writing your function name as per the operation it is working. Okay, it is giving minus 70 value. Why? Because order matters. Now if you change the value to 95, 10. So always remember that, okay? The order of the argument matters because Python matches them from left to right, from your left to right, okay? Not from mine. So you have now a task. You have to write a function that is going to calculate the area of rectangle. That means you have to create a function that have two arguments, length and width, two parameters, length and width, and it is going to print length into breadth as area of rectangle, and you have to pass minimum 5 arguments to it. So try to create and see how you get the output. Okay. Uh, so far we have learned now the return statement. This is an important concept in Python, the return statement. Many beginners get confused between print and return. Let's understand the difference, okay? First, we are going to know the difference. So, I am again using this one only, and I'm using simple numbers for calculation purpose. This works perfectly. But now imagine we want to store the answer, okay, in another variable. Okay. For example, I am just going to do it like result or output equals to add. Okay, and print output. Now, why does it printing none? Because print statement only displays the result. It doesn't send it back. That's where return comes. Now whenever you print it like this, and in the programs you will be going to make in future, you have to do it like that. Sometimes you have to initialize it to another variable, the result. So this none would be printed, and we don't want this. For example, we don't want it. Then simply use return statement. What I'm going to do, instead of print, I will write return, no parenthesis, just the function how it should be working, and now I'm going to run. Now the answer is stored inside the result, and this allows us to reuse it later. It is going to send it back. Okay, I got my value, now go back. Something like this. Okay. You can even make square of a number. So you can make area of square, area of cuboid, whatever you want, you can create with this function. Okay. So it's very simple. So why written is better? So suppose we have a like a very big kind of program, okay, or let's do one thing. I want to add, multiply this whole function by 2. Whatever the function returns, I want to like do it like that. We had used print. If we had used print, this wouldn't have worked. Print doesn't return a value. You can try it yourself. Print, storing inside it. Now let's see what happens. Because this is not supported by print. So print displays the output, returns, send value back. Print cannot be stored, return can be stored. Print is used for showing, return is used for calculations. And print returns none, but returns is going to give you the actual value. So remember this. I have already had this kind of table here. You can understand with this. This is the simple difference between a print and a return. Okay. Now your task is to print a cube of a number. Okay. Types of function. So there are broadly main two types: built-in and user-defined. We have done so far like some of them. So if you remember, as I told you, len, we have done type, we have done input, max, min, sum, average. These are some built-in function. These are already provided by Python. We don't need to create them. We just use them. Okay. Python already knows how len works. We simply use it. We didn't create another function using that. And we can use it as many times you want. User defined function. These are created by us using the def keyword that we did right now. Okay. So for that, we first decide to write def, then name of the function, give the parameters if needed, then the logic, and the output would be done if according to the arguments. So think your mobile phone. Built-in functions are like camera, calculator, clock. They already come with your phone. User-defined functions are the app that you install. Okay. So if someone asks you what is the difference between built-in and user function, built-in functions are already available in Python, and user-defined functions are created by the programmer using the def. Okay. Advantages. So first is, as I told you, code is reusable. Write once, use as many much time you want. Reduce repetition, easily debug, and large programs are divided into small functions, so job is done little easier. So far I hope you understand these all. So this is a summary of it. Now your task is to do these 4 programs by yourself. Okay. So that now, since we still have time, uh, let's move to file handling. So far we have learned functions too, but today we are going to learn file handling. So suppose you are writing a Python program to store a student names and marks. The program is going to run perfectly when your like name equals to Rahul, string, marks equals to 95, integer. But what happens if you close Python and run the program again? The data is gone. Everything disappears. Because until now, all our data has been stored in RAM, the memory. RAM is a temporary storage. When the program is going to end, the data is going to erase. But like applications like WhatsApp, Instagram, or your banking application, can they afford to lose the data every time application is closed? Of course not now. That's why we have file handling. File handling allows us to save data permanently on our computer so that we can access it after the program has been stopped. So, file handling is the process of creating files, reading files, writing data, updating data, and managing files using Python. Okay. File handling, if you want to ask me, allows Python to communicate with the files stored on your computer, real life computer. Imagine your school. Every student's details are recorded or stored in some notebook or register. If those records were kept only in RAM, for example, you are using a PC, if those records were kept only in RAM, they would disappear as soon as the computer is going to shut down. Instead, the school stores in a database or a file. So, same concept applies in Python too. Without file, what is going to happen? Program start, enter your name, storing the variable, program ends, data lost. But what we want? Program starts, enter your name, save the file, program ends, data is stored. So common uses are we used in students management system, hospital records, banking application, or shopping website, or your Instagram, WhatsApp, that too, they also use that. Okay. So so this is how what is a file handling. Opening file and file modes. Okay. Huh. Before reading or writing a file, we must first know how to open it. Python provides the open function in it. I hope you know what is a function. So the syntax is going to work like this. This is a variable file. I have given it open. Since I have told you we are going to use open function, so parenthesis after open. This is the open function. Okay. Then student.txt. Okay, let's understand what happened. Now the student.txt, this should be in string because this is the file name. And R is called the mode. The mode tells Python what we want to do with the file. So for example, here I have wrote R. So I am asking you to read an existing file. I am asking Python to read an existing file. If file doesn't exist, Python gives an file not found error. Okay. If you write it like W, it creates a new file if it doesn't exist. It is not going to throw an error, it will create it. And if it already exists, everything inside the file is erased before writing the new data. This is very important. Always use W very carefully. What I said is, whenever first, if the file is not created, it will create it. And if the file is already existing, everything inside the file would be erased before writing the new data. Now append. For append you have to use a. I'm just using the initials, so you don't have to worry. These are the initials. Append means add new data at the end. Old data should retain. This mode is commonly used in attendance system and log files. Then there is one mode, that is create mode, that is denoted by X. It completely creates a new file. If the file already exists, Python will throw an error. And then we have read plus write, that is R plus, allows both reading and writing without deleting the existing content. So these are the modes I have explained you here. These are some more. Okay. So if you want, let's complete the program. Since I am using it in W because I have not created any file till now, and I would write file dot write. Hello. File, right? Something, nothing much. And file dot close, like that. So what happened here? I just created a file. I asked to write hello Python inside that file and close the file. Okay. So if student.txt don't exist, Python will create it. Okay. Now reading files. Now let's learn how to read information stored in a file. Suppose student.txt contains three names, Rahul, Priya, Aman. There are three common methods to read the file. So first is, I have already created a file. Now I am going to, now I know that file exists. I am going to work it like, now I'm going to open it in read mode and then create a data file dot read. Okay. And print data and file upload. This is a close function like the open function. It is used for closing the file. Okay, this is a good habit to close your file. Okay, so now here read, it reads entire file at once and it is suitable for small files. Since I have added hello Python inside that file in the previous example, so it is giving me the hello Python. Okay, and then there is one more, that is read line. So read line, sometimes you only want one line. It is right now I have only given you the first line, but whatever the first line would be written in the file, it would give me that would be. Calling read line again and again would give me the next line, but when you are going to call it for first time, it is going to give me the first sentence or the first line. Then it is read lines. So it will give me all the data in terms of list. Okay, and there will be a slash n written there because that represent that next output should be written in the next line. Okay, so these were three modes. So now writing and appending the file. So since we already wrote it, I'm going to again write the message to it. I'm going to open it in a writing mode since I have want to write something. Then okay, I did this. I wrote another line. Now let's see. After following it, data I'm using read lines here, okay, and then hey, it's a new line. Now what happened? If the I told you if the file already contained the data, it is going to completely replaced by the new line. So if we don't want it, so for that we have to use append. Suppose we don't want to lose the existing data, then we are going to write similar manner. We have to write it like this only. Just you have to use here append so that existing file does not get removed. Okay. So common mistakes you can do. Many beginners excellently use W instead of A. So you should always remember the as a result, the previous data is going to permanently erase. Always double check the file mode before writing it. Okay. Now we have done this so far. Close. I was writing again and again the close. This we haven't discussed about this. Whenever we open a file, we should close it. Why? Because open file uses system resources. If we keep opening files without closing them, our program may become inefficient, and some operating system, the file may even remain locked. So the traditional way is I told you, you have to use that close. Now you have to write it. This releases the file and free the resources. Now problem with the close is, suppose our program crashed before we reaching the file.close. What happens? The program stops because of the error. Okay. File.close never runs. So the file is always open. So this is not a good programming practice. For that we use with statement. Python gives us a better solution for this with the with statement. So what we are going to do, instead of creating a variable and writing it like this, just write with open, okay, and you don't have to write this too here. The data is already added. Okay, I have not printed anything, and um, okay, I'm going to analyze it using file. What do I mean by analyzing? You don't have to worry. Analyzing is nothing but a simple way of giving this whole statement, a name. I have given this whole statement with to here as file. I have named it as file. So I don't have to write it the whole. I just have to write file dot read. Simple. The file is going to read whatever we have wrote till now. And I want, remember the semicolon because it's a statement, you have to write the semicolon. Content. So I hope you understood this. What opening the file, naming, then mode, and I have analyzed it and give it a name. Then I created some variable again, and I asked to read that file and give the content to that variable and then print that variable again. Simple. And hey, it's a new line, has been printed. So even if an error occurs, the file is safely closed. Python automatically closes before the block finishes. So why use with? Automatically, it is automatically closing the file. Cleaner code, safer, recommended by Python. So imagine you are borrowing a library book. Opening a file is like a borrowing. Closing the file is like returning. The with statement is like a smart librarian who automatically collects the book when you are finished. Never forget to return it. Simple. Okay. After that, if you want something to write here, print data saved. Once the block ends, which is here, since this is a one block, see, this was the one block, so file is already closed. No extra code is required. So remember that, okay? Now we are towards regex, or commonly or other the name is regular expressions. This name sounds complicated, but the idea is very simple. Regular expression is a way of searching and matching the text using patterns. Instead of checking every character manually, we create a pattern and Python find matching text automatically. Why do we need regex? So imagine you are creating a registration form. User enters email address. How do you know if it's valid? Instead of writing dozens of if, we can use regex. Other uses is email validation, after that email validation, phone number validation, Aadhaar PAN format checking, password checking, search engines, many more. Okay, if you have ever searched for something on the Google, the pattern matches the play matches pattern matching plays a role behind the scenes whenever you are searching on something on Google. Okay, the search engines also include. Important is something which is remodule. So module we have not discussed, but I'll let you know. Module is like a file that contains multiple functions inside it. So you can understand it like a notebook is a module and the pages are its function that are reusable again and again. Okay. So every Regis program start with this import read. So what I am asking you to do is whenever you want to write a regex, to import read. Read is a module and import is a keyword to asking the Python that I want to use remodule here. So every program going to start with import. Okay. So suppose I want to write text. I'll search the function that I am calling from module read. Okay, this module I am asking to use search function with this dot operator. Okay, this is the syntax. Remember, then I am asking you to search Python. I'm going to search Python from text. Now I want you to print me whatever the result gives you the value. Let me clear it. Okay. I wrote P as capital. Okay. Re.match object span something something match Python. This means word was found. In the previous example, it was written as none. So what if the word doesn't exist? It is going to give the none. No match found. Very simple. So some common regex function are this. Search, I told you. Search the entire string and return the first matching value. That we did again. If no match exists, it returns none. That in match, you may get confused between search and match. The difference is match only check the beginning of the string. Okay, what do I mean by that? Match. There is a space. Oh, so there. So match found. What we did in the previous one, I made a space here. And as I told you, match only checks the beginning of the string, and the beginning of the string was the space. So it gave me none as the output. Otherwise, like if we talk about the one that we were doing, that was search. So search and searches the entire string. Match only checks the beginning of the string. So remember like that. So next we have find all. So find all is so it is going to give me, yeah. So it will all the matching values would be here. If I write it here again Python, then all the Python word would be printed again and again. So very useful for countering the occurrence. Then sub. Okay. Now Java. What happens here? I'm writing it sub Java. What happened here? It is for replacing the text. I replaced Java with Python. So Python practice, Python program. So this is called first put the text that you want to replace. The second would be what you want to replace with. And text is the variable that have the string. Imagine replacing every occurrence of one word in a document. So this is very helpful, right? So hope you understood the topic. Now you have to do a mini project, that is we are going to combine whatever we have learned. So take details from the user, use import tree, and checking that if this is a little bit tougher, we are going to do it soon. Till now, you have to do with this only picture.